Great. Well, we're into session 28, number 2 for Across the Atlantic for Strange Times Ahead. We're following up on some of the things from last week that were pending. I have created some handouts. There is one showing Watt's mysterious artifact. It is a strange yellowy egg with a sort of unusual sort of shifting presence inside it. I found a very more exciting picture than what I originally envisioned, so I went with it. You'll also see Nora's lamp in there, and if you have not read it yet, this is what happened when Nora was, I'm zooming, Nora ended up speaking with Roland before the start of this entire scenario. So searching her family home for clues that might help her understand how and why they came to an untimely end. Nora combs the house from top to bottom. Over the weeks as she goes up and down the stairs to the attic, she notices again and again that one of the steps creaks badly. Finally, she decides to take a break and mend the step. Upon pulling up the old boards, she finds hidden underneath a small lockbox with her mother's initials engraved upon it. Agnes has no help with opening it. She only vaguely recalls the box and can't fathom what happened to the key. So Nora seeks the help of the local locksmith. It just happens to be Roland Draper. She finds her way to the shop on one cold and blustery morning just after the New Year. Roland is hard at work repairing a lock when she approaches the counter. When asked if he can be trusted to keep whatever contents they discover within to himself, he assures Nora that he will act with the utmost discretion. Nora trusts him and engages his services to open the box. The lock is an unusual one, not your standard tumbler. It requires manipulating a loose portion of the floral engraving before manipulating the lock itself. After some effort, the box springs open, revealing a small slip of paper atop a couple items stored within. The note is fairly short, reading. My dearest Nora, if you are reading this, no doubt some ill fate has befallen myself and your father. We decided to place this away and hope that your natural curiosity would uncover it when the time is right. Your father and I were exploring some ancient ruins in the hills of Cyprus when we uncovered the ancient lamp enclosed here. Not knowing what its significance might be, we turned to a local Cypriot antiquarian named Nazia Papadopoulos. When she saw it, she turned us away, saying she wanted nothing to do with it and telling us no more. Later that night, we lit the lamp and immediately fell into the most intense series of ecstatic visions. When we awoke, there were people pounding at the door to our hotel, yelling in Turkish. As we hastily gathered our things, they broke down the door, and your father tussled with the men while I escaped down the ladder. We found each other again at the port. He handed me the pendant you find in this box as well, telling me that whoever it belonged to would stop at nothing to get the lamp. He promised to lead them astray and meet me back in Arkham. That was the last time I saw him. The visions have continued to beset me since that fateful night. They haunt me. I am a hostage to my dreams. I do not know how much longer I can hold out. I know they still seek me to excuse me. I know they still seek me to claim the lamp and cannot be too far away. I leave tonight for the Mediterranean in the hopes I will find your father alive and unmask the mysterious group. Keep this lamp safe and secret. Do not, under any circumstances, light it. I depart for Montenegro in the morning. I have reason to believe your father was last seen there. With love, Mother. Enclosed within the box is an ancient worn-looking brass lamp with a small pendant sitting atop it. The pendant is an 8-sided coin with a curious weight. The letters S and K are etched upon it, surrounded by what appears to be snakes, spines, or maybe tentacles. So Nora and obviously Roland would be privy to this knowledge, and the rest of the group would not, unless they decide to disclose it. Obviously, the Watt's mysterious artifact. None of you know anything about it yet. We'll have it when we just got it. And I still need to resolve the details of Mr. Draper's artifact and how what happened when he claimed it. Since this was probably the most directly tied to the things that are happening, I need to finish that up for next week because there's a couple of details I want to make sure I get right, so it doesn't make no sense or mess me up later. If that makes sense. Yeah. I do believe I said last week though, like it was made of the same stone as the actual artifact that you are that you're carrying.
Yeah. You said I recognize the material.
Yes, exactly. But yes, beyond that, there's going to be some more details, and that may be impertinent, but I want to make sure that I do them right so that I don't make a mistake. So, in terms of where we're at, does anybody have any questions, comments, anything they want to cover before we jump in?
Yeah, so if what's your new character's name again, Jeff?
Roland
Roland,
Draper.
right? So every time that Mr. Wright is near Roland, is he going to have a warm pyramid because he's got a piece of stone on him?
Is Roland carrying it around?
No, he handed it over to.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought Wick held on to it.
He handed it over to Wick. Like he wanted to know what it was, but did not want to keep it.
Because Wick had originally engaged him to get it, if I recall.
And then only Brady would know about my artifact that I bought, and I will have that on me. So I don't know if he'll be feeling anything when he's near me. When I've got
that would be a yes. That would definitely make your little I was going to say obelisk pyramid warm up.
So I mean that's something for you to I was going to say something for you to consider. However you want to play it. I'm not disclosing that I have this thing, but I'm not disclosing that I have this thing.
Gotcha.
Regarding the lamp and such, would I don't think Draper would read the letter. Like if Nora kind of left the box and then came back later, I don't think Nora would. I mean, Draper wouldn't have just read the letter. So would he have? Would Nora have mentioned anything about it to him?
Probably not any of the details. She probably would have opened it and like seen what was inside and then taken it home to read the letter. So you would maybe have seen like the pendant and lamp and that there was a letter, but I don't know if she would have shared the details with someone she just met.
I imagine he unlocked it and opened it and like just kind of saw what was in and then like closed it back just to see like it unlocked properly.
Yeah, for sure. Beyond that, I feel like she would probably show it to Watts though, and just be like, at least the pendant. Like, does this make any connections to anything that you know? Is there anything obviously sort of mystical about it? Or like, does the lamp have, I don't know, obvious origins from some particular place or something like that? You know, what is the sort of historical nature of it, if anything like that would be known?
To what?
Watts and
Brady?
Probably, yeah. As like the learned people who may know anything about it.
My mind would be wired to immediately look at anything to do with Arlian, and then I remember, I also know a lot about the occult, and try and put it back to that too. So to see if I can help.
Oops. Oh, what was the name? I believe. Hold on a second. Oh, first off, do either of you know Turkish? I don't think you do.
Old Egyptian and Arlian. I know.
Well, ignore that I said that.
Apparently, I know Arlian more than my own language, which is kind of funny. 61 in Arlian, 55 on my own.
Did very poorly in school. Now you're finally interested in something.
Yeah, I forgot that I put my roll 20s on my stream deck. I can roll dice.
What? Give me a library use roll.
It would be under library, wouldn't it?
Oh, geez, hard success. That's what I was looking for. With a hard success, you recall from studying the tablets that you have been studying for, like, obviously some months now, that those tablets in particular appear to be the original version of the Necronomicon, and that the original version of the Necronomicon is. What did I do with it? I just lost the page. Damn it! Nope, that's nothing. Holmes, here we go. Back here. Is the Al Azif, which was compiled by Abdul Al Hazred. It is noted in the preamble for Al Hazred's version that he mentions that he was particularly inspired by his muse, which took the form of being granted to him through a lamp. Whether this is that lamp, that would be the particular thing that you connect to this.
Inspired by the news of what through the lamp?
Basically, that a lamp was like he attributed it to some kind of muse. It's not very clear exactly what he meant, but he mentions that he was able to access or speak with this muse to find his particular insight through having this lamp in his possession.
Yeah. So Thomas turns to Nora after looking at it, and he basically relays that I feel like I came across this in the tablets, and I did a little bit more library research on what I'd found, and there was this person called Abdul Hazred.
Al Hazred.
Al Hazred. Al Hazred, and it's unclear, but he was able to get not information, but like some kind of form, and he felt comfort around with his lamp, and was able to be inspired and get information unbeknownst to him. But this seems to be like a very close replica, or that's telling the story of that. It's very close.
That does check out, but I don't think it's a replica. She'll hand him the letter to read at this point.
Yeah, sorry, I will take my time reading the letter. Is there anything distinct from that letter that I'd pull from that?
At this point, basically, there's some indications, obviously, of potential. I mean, I would say that you can't draw any strong conclusions. The original lamp, from anything that you've ever heard of it besides this mention, would have long since been lost. Basically, the only mention you've heard of such a thing is from the studies of what is considered to have been a lost text that you've only just managed to find your access to and start deciphering. In your occult studies, obviously tales of magic lamps and that sort of thing are not uncommon, but you have nothing really concrete to go upon. It's just something that, like, based on the style and and the fact that you have been recently studying this thing, that you made this connection. The dangers and the visions, obviously, you don't know what those visions were that she had. Were they the same visions that once inspired Al Hazred to delve into to documenting the mythos, or is it something completely different? You can't be sure.
Would I know of its origin being Turkish? Not that I've ever heard of the link to Turkey ever with this lamp.
It would not be Turkish, based on what you would know of Al Hazred.
Okay. I'm just trying to see when the original Aladdin was written and if it was based off a true story.
Weirdly, Aladdin was never part of the original Arabian Nights. It was added later.
Yeah. I just found something about it, though, and it's funny enough, it says about Turkish collection to the 8th volume in 1709. Interesting. I wonder if this is all linked together. Oh, the internet.
I mean, Aladdin is an old story, obviously, but
Like Galland in 1712.
And there's obviously a whole bunch of different versions of it depending on where you go back.
Well, I let Nora know everything in that terrible RP I just tried to do.
All right, she will just kind of give you a nod and tuck everything back away and sort of seem a little unsettled for the time. Sort of, you'll notice she's like playing with her lighter and just kind of fidgeting with it. Sort of seems a little off.
And I see if Brady was around at the same time, like you'd be privy to this as well.
Yeah, I would like if he came to the speakeasy or something along with Watts. I would wait for that type of moment to bring it up.
Okay.
Okay. Sorry, I was actually asking you. Is there more things that you guys have that you want to quickly resolve before we get into like the next couple days between speaking with oh shit, what's his name? Antiquarian guy and getting on the train.
Admiral Wick.
Wick. There you go. I know W names. Wick, Wright, Watts.
So with the skills that Brady has as far as appraisal and can he notice anything about it that's obviously there's some weirdness to it. There's obvious weirdness to it, but is there anything specifically unique that he could gather from it?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead and roll an appraise on if you want to do both items.
Okay. Well, for sure both items, but specifically the object as well.
My object?
No, the one that Abner
okay,
Wick
good.
showed us.
Oh, sure. Then you can roll 3. I suppose he wouldn't have had you obviously I suppose which order are you appraising it?
That's I guess we'll go by what he would have seen first. So would that have been the object, or would that have been the object, or the
timeline-wise, this seeing Nora and her thing would have predated seeing Wick.
Okay, so I guess that technically would be for the lamp, that roll.
Right.
And then is the artifact next?
Then the pendant is next, and then the artifact.
Okay.
I'll say the artifact, you're going to need a hard success to get much out of it because you're not touching it.
True.
Ooh, job. I was about to say I didn't ask about the pendant, but I don't think I need to.
All right, so in terms of appraising the lamp itself, you're unsure, obviously. It's a failure. It's clearly an item that is old, of some kind of actual recent origin. Does not appear to be a counterfeit. But the etchings on it are very unusual. They don't seem to particularly connect with any tradition or style that you're familiar with. But even in that failure, that is an unusual insight that you can get just based on your standard, the fact that you're very good at this. I would say that that is it is a positive negative that you don't know something that is meaningful.
Okay.
In terms of looking at the pendant, it is obviously of a newer origin, probably less than 100 years old. It is a gold alloy that it has some other kind of heavier metal that's included with it. So it will not tarnish, but it doesn't have quite the same luster as like pure gold, but would likely be of some reasonable amount of value. It does not appear to be some special artifact of any particular significance historically or in terms of antiquities, but likely heralds from somewhere in Turkey, based on the stylistic way it has been done in this design.
Who's trying to eat my notebook?
Oh, jeez. Get on your kid. What are you doing? Anyway, sorry. Would be made by some kind of Turkish private minting that creates like custom coinage for people who choose to purchase it from them. Beyond that, appraise will not help you particularly know like about who this belonged to and why, since it's some kind of private thing.
Okay.
It doesn't jump out to you being like, oh, this is a coin from so and so and it's worth a lot of money. It's like it probably has intrinsic value based on the fact that it's made of precious metals. And then with the hard success on appraising the actual artifact that Wix showed you, it is definitely an unusual item. That at the very least, it is clearly a work of some significant craftsmanship. Done by a peoples like that are probably like long lost in antiquity. It definitely heralds back to things that you've seen come out of digs in the South Pacific, which aligns with what you've been told. Obviously, trying to assess the value would be probably based on what you've already been told, but like looking at the thing itself, extremely high to the right buyer. It is not something that is going to fetch a high price for somebody who does not know anything about it. But that is the kind of thing that in your own studies, you know that this is that those few who do have some idea of what this thing is would no doubt pay incredible amounts to get their hands on it. Even from a historic perspective, completely barring the fact that there seems to be some kind of magical thing going on in terms of its effect upon it.
All right, if we could jump back then to, I guess, when Nora showed you guys this stuff, because I had an idea. I think at the end of sort of evening, they're wrapping up and getting ready to like part ways. Nora sort of stop and I have a favor to ask of the two of you if you'll take some time. My aunt is quite knowledgeable about these things, being an antiquarian by trade, but I fear if she knows where these items came from, she will not be entirely truthful with me as far as what she knows, or may be able to decipher. Would one or both of you be able to take them with her and make up some sort of story to where you found them? Perhaps seek her counsel, see what you can get out of her?
For you, Nora, yes, of course I would.
I appreciate it. Just don't mention that you know me, and certainly don't mention anything to do with my family. If she asks where you got them, perhaps an abandoned mansion or something of the like. She probably won't be too nosy. If she's at all intrigued, she'll more be interested in the mystery, I expect.
Of course, I
So
feel
she-
like. Oh, sorry, Mr. Brady. You go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Mr. Watts.
I feel like the links to the tablets have been researched, and I feel like the trips that were taken, the expeditions, this all makes sense that this was in the boxes with the tablets.
As good a story as any I can imagine. It should hold out for her at least. I do appreciate it. Please don't let her take the items from you. I would hope to hold on to them. It does sound the lamp at least may be dangerous.
Will do.
Thank you. As always, I owe you one.
Where would she, during the last out of character, during the last scenario, where would she have been?
When we were staying at at your house.
Yeah, it's a big house and she's not very interested in people.
Okay.
So I sort of figured like maybe she had seen you, but she probably wasn't very interested as like Nora's acquaintances as to who you would have been. So whether
Okay.
she actually remembers you or not, I'll leave up to Mike, but it probably would have been like very in passing. You would have spent some time with like the butler, but yeah, she's not
Okay.
friendly.
Damn it! I have no Agnes NPC sheet.
Sorry, it was a last minute thought.
Not a bad idea. Can I get back to you next time on that? I don't think it's going to be a immediately game-changing response.
No,
I'd like to make it interesting rather than try and just completely come up with something on the spot.
No, that's cool.
I guess just for next time, each of you give me like a persuasion or a charm, or like describe how you're going to convince her to tell you stuff, because she's not always necessarily taking visitors, let alone doing random appraisals on things. So let me know how you would convince her to look at your respective items and which item you are bringing her.
I'm 100% going to try and charm her with my old age and my wisdom around antiquities. I can speak.
Sure, you can roll.
Okay.
And for me, I would not tell her. I'd ask her as a professional for her opinion, and then if she pushes and asks more, then I'd tell the story that I'd given Nora. So more so like a fast talk.
Yeah, okay. I guess I could say you could fast talk your way in there.
Yeah, it'd be more avoiding where I got it from, but once pushed, I'd tell her my story. Fast talk is what?
Oof. That was her psychology roll to be whether she was going to be fast talked, because I feel like Agnes would be on to Pete's shenanigans in terms of being fast talked, while she would be more likely to be charmed. Okay, well, I'll have to decide what a 7 is against your hard success as to whether that's successful or not. It may not be. Because that was a very good roll.
You would roll against me like that.
I'll come up with Agnes's persona. I don't know. She's a smart old lady, old dame.
A grumpy, smart old lady. At least from Nora's perspective. She may be better.
30 seconds to be right back.
I will come back to that next time. I will highlight this so I don't forget. Which item is each of you bringing? Oh, he's got it.
Guess. Which item were you wanting to do,
The
Dan?
lamp.
The lamp?
I feel like it makes sense that I passed on the lamp. You failed on it. You passed on the pendant. I failed on that. Well, I didn't even check it. Up to you. I mean, if you... Yeah. I probably need to know more on, to be fair. That's metagaming, so I think what I said probably makes more sense.
Whatever makes sense to Watts. If I guess the lamp for him, I could do the pendant.
Yeah, I think that does make sense, even though I probably failed against her. But I feel like story-wise, I gave all the information on the lamp. You gave the information on the pendant.
Or we could just go simply which off of like maybe which item we picked up first, or
Yeah, or we could get together and
flip a coin.
All right. Yeah. I don't know. Dan, you roll a D2, and if you get a 1, you're bringing the lamp. All right, lamp it is.
It was meant to
Fate's
be.
had it. Yeah.
Yep. So it has been written, so it shall be done. All right. Any other loose ends on Mr. Draper or Mr. Wright before we get to our last few days before the train wreck?
Just checking in with work, making sure they know I didn't die on like a assignment or something.
Yeah, doing your normal jobs would be the idea. All right. Well, so if I recall, let's see, timeline-wise.
You know, Thomas Watts has been getting increasingly more frustrated after he'd met Wick, because Thomas Watts cannot find his items anywhere, because Nora instructed somebody to pack them for me. So I'm getting more increasingly frustrated.
Every time you like go to do something and come back, there's like another thing that's just mysteriously gone missing that you can't find.
Like my mechanical
carefully
pencil's not
packed
where
up.
it's supposed to be.
All right, so yes, it's Friday, February 2nd that the train leaves, and it was Wednesday, January 31st that you guys met with Mr. Wick. So I guess we should probably pick it up at convincing Watts that he's even going to go on this trip.
Before we get started, I just wanted to, because I think I missed this in my notes. When does the boat leave?
The boat leaves, I believe, 4 days after you get to. The boat leaves February 6th, Tuesday, February 6th, 1923, at 14:30. En route to London via Plymouth.
I feel like to get Watts on the train, because I basically threw my ticket away. I think maybe we could tie in it as my birthday, and you wanted to take me to New York for it.
I like that idea.
I just don't know what the date
you
was.
You threw it out, but like on the way out of Wick's office, so I just grabbed it for you. So Flinders.
I just know the date is the 6th for the boat. I don't care about anything else. I'm not gonna be going to the boat on the 6th.
No, that's fine. We decide to take you to New York for a birthday extravaganza, and then it just happens to coincide with when we all have train tickets for. And then as far as the actual boat part of it, I figured at this point, Nora would realize that it's just going to be a problem and just kind of enlist Brady and Wright's help in making sure that he is very drunk the night before we're supposed to leave. So we can just kind of scoop up a hungover Mr. Watts the next morning and get him on the boat.
A blacked out Mr. Watts wakes up on the boat. That's basically, I think.
Yeah.
Wakes up to a nightmare.
Yeah, basically.
It's like the sloshing and the moving. He was like, not again! No!
Yeah.
No!
Dad!
Right, so you guys have basically 2-ish days. What are you packing? Who are you seeing? What are you doing? You're due to meet back up with Wick's associates to get the artifact the day that you depart. Before then, your time is short.
I think Thomas Watts can be sitting out on these next few days. He'll just be looking at tourist information for New York and what I can do. Architect tours and stuff, and that's it. He won't be interested in doing anything else and preparing. So I'll sit out for this bit.
So I think Roland, he would pack, obviously, is like lockpicking tools and stuff like that. So basically all he's going to pack is like some clothes and then like lockpicking and a bunch of tools, essentially. But then like the day that they're supposed to leave, I think he'd go to the asylum and meet with Ina and just kind of tell her what's going on, even if she's like not really receptive to anything.
You'll have to leave early in the morning to be back in time for the train. I think. Let me double check that.
Or if it's early in the morning, then the night before.
I never worked out the time. All right. Well, then, so yes, I'll say then the day in between, in the evening, you go and visit Ina. You are able to be, of course, admitted to the asylum without a problem, since you are a fairly regular visitor. and you find your way in. Is there anything specific about what you are doing that you're telling her, or are you just being very general?
Well, I just kind of let her know that I'm going to be gone for a little bit, and that hopefully when I come back, I'll have some answers and we can fix whatever happened to her.
All right, then she mutters and says some of the usual nonsensical types of responses that you get out of her. That her eyes dart to and fro, back and forth, to and fro. Thanks, Emily. And she seems relatively at ease, given the ups and downs. But of course, you're not trying to trouble her with any of the potentially harrowing details of what you're going to be engaging in as far as escorting a mysterious artifact. Since it makes kind of sense that that might be something that might trigger her.
Yeah. And then I'll just the attendant who's there, whatever. I'll just say, make sure you take care of her.
The attendant nods. She is the same attendant that you're used to seeing. It seems that likes her and is generally calmer when she's around. The evening nurse you have found out is her favorite and helps her fall asleep in the evenings despite the fitful dreams that seem to beset her.
And then I'll just leave after that.
Alrighty. Who's next? Mr. Brady.
I was actually thinking, with kind of a rough description of the object itself from that Wick is having us transport. With that knowledge, I was wanting to see about maybe going down to the archives, maybe try and find some information about it, or if not really go out of my way, but if I find Amelia Court down there, maybe ask her if she has any, maybe if any of it rings a bell to her.
Can I assist you doing that? Not that
Honestly,
I'm
why not?
interested.
If you
Assist
told
you
him.
at the library, yeah.
Yeah, I mean he would have been there because he would have before this round, before we were actually called up from Abner Wick to go and see him at the antique shop. He would have been there to assist you and if Mr. Wright had anything going on. So I mean it makes sense that I would have probably been around you during that time. I don't know if you were, since you were. I mean, yeah. I mean, I guess if you were around me, yeah, I wouldn't. He wouldn't have any problem with it.
So is this
I
for the artifact? So you're looking up in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this is basically post Abner Wick's office. We
Yeah.
see the object. Yeah, that's fine.
Have you been in particularly frequent contact with her, such that you would have a reason that you have a solid idea of, the likelihood of you finding her at that point, or is this a bit more of like you're kind of just sort of going to her usual haunts and hoping for the best?
Yeah. He's basically wanting to go to the archives, basically find anything information that resembles maybe what the object looks like or details about the object, and like loosely hoping that maybe she's there. Whether or not she's there is a different story, but
Maybe that instead of so I don't have to do any rolls. Maybe that's how I assist. I bring Amelia because you wanted to bump into her, and I have had contact with her quite regularly.
Well, how about before you turn to trying to use Watts to track her down, give me a luck roll to see whether you manage to just find it.
okay.
You were lucky. Looks pretty good. Go ahead. What are you asking, Amelia?
Basically, just giving a description of the object, the figure on it, maybe the colors, maybe from my appraisal of it, just kind of sharing those details with her. Um, and then if she has any idea of like maybe where I could find information, if she didn't know anything about it, just kind of like what we're dealing with.
Oh, she rolled great. I pulled up her. I pulled up her sheet. She has a 80 in history. So that success is hard as hell. Extreme. She looks vaguely aghast at what you describe, and she says, "It's like you do realize it sounds like you are describing the visage of a great old one. Such things are not to be trifled with. They are beings of great power that only rarely does their influence ever show up on this world. If anything, I would normally expect us to be beneath their interest. But some say that their likes do slumber deep beneath the ocean floor.
Is this something that could possibly take place in transit for us? Like we're delivering this thing and we're going across the ocean. Is this something that could potentially affect us in transit?
Honestly, it's impossible to say. I'd have to investigate the item myself, I suppose, to really try and know more. And even that, while investigating such things, are dangerous. I'm fairly knowledgeable about such strange things and mythos knowledge. And every time I delve further, it costs me a bit of my sanity. Something that I think you are starting to learn yourself. As such, trying to find out exactly what this thing does and how it might affect you, well, that might simply bring about exactly the repercussions that you fear.
If you had to guess, what do you think the item is for? Is it some sort of thing to summon? What do you think it does? Just if you had to guess.
If I had to guess, it may be considered some kind of homage. It may be used for some kind of sacrifice and ritual. It may be some kind of communication or a item that is used for summoning. But I would think the latter would be unlikely. Summoning such a thing, well, such powerful beings do not generally come when called. They come when they damn well feel.
And you said it was in regards to an old one,
A great old one.
a great old one. Any idea if that happens, what we can do to to at least survive it?
Should an actual great old one be called to the fore? Well, I can only hope that you die quickly, because the alternative is much worse.
Would you have any books or anything to point me towards further information, or do you think it's probably best to keep it at a minimum?
Well, your friend Watts has been deep within the archives for many weeks now, and he may have a few tidbits that he's picked up along the way. Honestly, keeping your wits about you, holding on to your sanity, and trying to keep a level head is your best bet. I will say that, and she puts a hand gently upon your arm to reassure you, and says, in terms of this item's ability to actually summon forth such a thing, to actually bring its attention upon you, I think that's relatively unlikely. If anything, the real danger is the attention from those that would want such an item that this thing will bring.
As I feared, um, I fear those things can be actually dealt with a little easier than an old one. So I appreciate your time, um, and And if Watts is there, he would kind of maybe look to him to see if he had anything to add or any other questions.
I think with the luck roll, Watts was not there. He may have been in the area if he had gone back to study.
Okay, that's fine. Yep, then I'll just leave it there.
Great. Well, shit, there's one more thing I was going to say. Oh, sorry. She was also going to say that as you were leaving and say, do remember also, the Great Old Ones, they do not stand alone. They have minions. They have those that seek their favor. They have enemies as well. And all of these could be in some way connected with your artifact.
Okay. Thank you for that information. I'll do very careful with this item, and I'll make sure the others know that it's not to be. We definitely can't take it for granted. We gotta keep an eye out. I appreciate it. Thank you. And he'll just walk out.
Great.
One thing I forgot to mention that Roland is packing is definitely his gun.
Definitely his gun.
Definitely his gun.
Yeah, I think it is a foregone conclusion that Nora is bringing a lot. I think I already actually upgraded my possessions to be just like half of her luggage is ammo. Yeah. And probably booze to try and make Watts forgive her when they get there.
And I would at the very least have shared that with Mr. Watts, all the information I had acquired from Amelia.
All right, that's good to know.
Yeah, I say you're a fool for accepting this job.
Little does he know.
It's very telling that Watts is so anti-water that he's all like, "This artifact sucks," when normally the artifact would be fascinating to him.
Yeah, stupid artifact. But what do I know? Can I actually help him with anything? So I actually think I would have secretly looked it up without telling people that I was looking it up, kind of thing.
Oh, so if you went and you spent just a day with the tablets trying to like dredge up any information that might coincide?
Definitely would have, but I'm due a bad roll anyway, so let's just throw it out there.
I was gonna say you can give me a library use, but with only a day to look us up, you're gonna need an extreme.
Yeah, there we go. Here's the fail. Ooh, that's not bad actually, but
Yeah, that was good. Not enough, but good.
how far am I to push that or like spend luck on it?
An extreme is. What does it say? Does it not say in your sheet?
I think extreme is a fifth.
Yeah, it's a fifth.
So a fifth of 60.
12. So yeah, you need another. You need to spend 11.
I'll spend 11 points on it.
It's a lot of luck.
All right.
Actually, I'm thinking about it. Like, you did get quite a lot of information from Amelia. It's like, what else would I know on it? Like, what is my luck? Where is it? It's not that high.
Yeah, I would. I don't know. Yeah, it's up to you. It's up to you.
We'll hold off on it.
All right. Then let's go to Mr. Wright.
Just prep. I don't think there's anything special. I still have. I took out the alcohol off of possessions. I assume Watts already drank it. That's who I died for.
You might want to speak with your employer to see whether you can find some other like cover story as to why you're traveling to England.
Cover story. Yeah, probably doesn't have any family over there or anything.
It's the mole people at Stonehenge.
Yeah,
the mole people are undermining Stonehenge. It's gonna fall anytime. He's not. I don't think Wright was supposed to be really into like the most insane, like out there stories. Wright was a pretty normal journalist.
Just specifically the mole people.
The Arkham isn't like Boston. It's not like huge. Would there be any excuse for like any? Probably don't have any colleagues over there. Maybe there's like a respected newspaper over there. Could be getting some tips from, or
the first BBC broadcast was due on Oh well, when are you leaving? Shit, that might not be. Sorry, that would be just on. Well, no, either way. So 13th of February is the very first BBC broadcast. So like you might be off to see like what the deal is with this as somebody working in as a journalist.
checking out like new technology, maybe new ways to reach audience.
Oh, okay. Sorry, it's specifically the BBC broadcast from Cardiff, and then the first BBC broadcast in Glasgow is the 6th of March. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else that's in like the things that happened that year. '28th of April. That's a little ways off. Wembley is open to the public for the first time. I don't know if you cover sports. 26th of April was the wedding of Prince Albert, Duke of York, to Lady Elizabeth Bowes-Lyon, which was the future King George the Sixth and Queen Elizabeth.
That's fair.
So maybe you're going to go cover the royal wedding.
Yeah, I assume most investigative journalists were like more per job than like a salary or anything. It was like more contract, wasn't it?
Yeah, I would assume that, from my understanding, I mean, I'm not really 100% sure. My understanding was that you had both. You had some people who were staff reporters who, like, basically made sure that they had a consistent flow of news, and then you had people who were, like, freelance reporters who were, like, basically would sell stories.
I guess he has been Arkham long term, so it'd make more sense for him to be more staff than. Okay, yeah, that makes sense. Try and say he's popping over to UK and see if his job bites, if there's anything over there he can cover, and that makes sense.
Yeah, I guess, like, I mean, basically, like, what would likely happen if you're, they would give you your blessing, but probably not be like, well, we'll pay you when you get back if you come back with something good.
Okay.
I suppose if you've been very good with them, they might give you like a small stipend to help cover some of your expenses. But they're like, considering you're pitching the idea, they're not going to give you a big old lump sum. But you're not in any hurting position money wise. So
Yeah, other than that, I think I've tied up pretty much anything around Arkham as far as the following up with the college story, the ties to from that gambling city, and the gangster influences along
Atlanta.
with
It's Atlanta, right?
Atlantic
No,
City,
Atlantic City.
and then along with checking in with the Asylum. But I think we already resolved that last week.
Yeah, I think we're good on that front. Yeah, definitely. I don't know if I suppose did. Who found out about the crawling chaos? No, you found out about the crawling chaos. I think in terms of that was the thing that you got in terms of like talking to people at Hibbs Roadhouse, right?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Do you want to do any like last minute research around that? If there's anything you can do in terms of going back through archives or anything? That would obviously be a pretty difficult role. Yeah. I mean, no. So you did find out about that role.
That was the result of keeping an ear to the ground at looking for who was trying to acquire. That was me following up with the college, who was trying to acquire the papers in the first place.
Yeah, exactly. So there was some time in between. If there's anything else you want to
Okay.
say with that.
Yeah, that would probably be the most pushing out of those three, at least. There's nobody directly I'm looking after at the asylum. The thugs already got arrested, so the immediate threats there's gone. So, yeah, I could push my contacts, I suppose, that are built up, and try and squeeze out some extra information if there's said there were a couple days.
Yeah, I mean, I said, but I mean, it's particularly like, yeah, I guess like if you wanted to follow up on that one more time, that would be something reasonable to look into.
Okay. If I haven't exhausted the Hibbs Roadhouse yet, that would be my first place.
Yeah, for sure.
Try and feed drinks and seem super interested in everything they're talking, or people I'm trying to push what they're talking about, and use charm if possible.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, I guess go ahead and give me a charm roll. And given that this is kind of like an, yeah, I guess give me a charm roll. Ooh, just barely.
How does this work?
With a basic success, I will say that you don't get a lot of very hard information. Basically, what you do get is like looking more into the people who were involved in this endeavor. That there was the unusual part being that there was a woman involved who had come to the fore, who basically the underground contacts for these doing these kinds of dealings did not like dealing with. She was a hard-headed and basically not somebody you wanted to trifle with. She was obviously somebody to be respected, which is made her stand out in what is otherwise often a underground that is ruled by men. She had to be twice as tough to be able to make sure that she got her way. But you don't get a specific name, just that she was a very tall woman, over 6 feet tall, with dark hair and a pale complexion.
You're saying this was potentially the contacts the Crawling Chaos was using for acquisition?
Potentially representative of the Crawling Chaos, but not sure if she was a secondary contact acting on their behalf or an actual representative.
Okay. So we got 2 people on the watch list now. I think our patron, I suppose if you call him that, he described a short, scraggly man. Right.
Yeah, so basically she came out about when the scraggly man seemed to have been having no luck in getting his way, that she was briefly on the scene, seeming to be the somebody behind him pushing that to see that their ends were achieved.
So probably higher up the food chain.
Yeah, exactly.
All right.
Finally, or anything else before I go on to Miss Baker?
No, that should about tie it all up.
All right, Miss Baker.
Yes, I will update the journals that I have been keeping for my cousin and write a letter sort of letting her know where everything is kept in case something happens while we are overseas. And make sure that her gun is in good working order. Bring lots of ammo. I guess contact Flinders again to make sure that everything is ready to go from his end. and make sure that he has managed to acquire himself a ticket on the ship and train. Maybe a different train, actually, just to not tip our hand. We wouldn't invite Flinders to go with us for the birthday, so different train, but on the same boat, and everything's packed up and ready to go. And yeah, I think that's. Then I guess I will bring the lamp and pendant just in case they are relevant. I don't trust the aunt at this point. Yeah.
What will I do with her?
Yes.
This is the crawling chaos all along.
Well, I'm pretty sure she's not 6 feet tall, so we've got that at least going for us.
No, she is a doddering old lady. All right, cool. Well, almost 9:30. Let's take a short break, and then we will regroup for the morning of leaving on the train. You awake on I lost date. Where is that note? Right. You awake on February 2nd? No, yeah, February 2nd. It is the morning. The train is due to leave late morning, and you are due down at the train station. We'll move over to the Arkham is known for its large train station that I will show to you now. Did it not pop? That's not working. What the heck? Nobody seeing the train station picture?
I'm just seeing a train.
Good train.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's like a share item thing.
Okay, now.
Oh, there we go. I had to show the players. Heading down towards the station from your respective areas, the town has been once again beset by significant snow squalls. How do each of you get your way across town?
I will get the butler to drive me there.
Cheating.
With my party hat on.
The taxi, like usual, if they're still running.
So, is it entirely up to me to try and get? I guess I got to figure out how I'm getting Mr. Watts over to the train.
No,
Oh, so he's on board now because he thinks it's his birthday.
Oh, okay.
That's what Nora was saying, was that she invited him for a birthday celebration in New York because he didn't pay attention to the exact timing of the tickets. He just said no.
Okay. All right. Okay.
Well, it's
Then
just there
easy
for
enough.
no reason.
Might not see you, right? Who knows?
We just happened to run into you on the train on a totally unrelated errand.
Coinky dink.
If I'm remembering the map of the town correctly, I feel like Roland's shop may not be too far from the train, so I could probably just walk.
Yeah, I was going to say, Roland, yes, as long as you leave a decent amount of time, you would be on the north side of town in the merchant quarter, so it's pretty easy for you to walk. Yes, the trains were on the north side of the river, just south of the main downtown core. In terms of getting a taxi, I would say roll me a luck.
Oh boy.
Oh, yeah. You have difficulty flagging down a taxi. By the time you walk several blocks, you eventually manage to get one, and start heading towards the station. You realize that you're running late. What do you do?
I slipped the taxi a little extra to drive fast.
All right. Give me some kind of persuasion or charm or fast talk.
I'll talk to him ask him how long he's been driving, that kind of thing. Say, I bet you could handle this kind of weather pretty easily, couldn't you? You've probably driven on this before. And then kind of push that direction.
Sure. I'll say, yeah, with the roll, let's just see just how good he does. Yeah, with charming talk and a slip of a bit of money, he brightens up and says, like, "Oh, I understand. We'll get you there in a jiffy. I know the best way to get across the river. Just hold on." And he slams on the gas in his motor vehicle, hops a few curbs, scattering urchins left and right who are standing around playing in the snow. They scream and yell in delight as they jump out of the way and their snow fort is destroyed. The car careens down the main pathways, managing to stay to the center of the road and out of the major snowdrifts, finding its way across the main bridge in the center of town, which is the most clear. You pull up just in time at the front of the train station. Rolling back to the rest of the investigators, I think everybody else had fairly predictable ways of getting to the getting there, right? Was anybody else using public transit? Oh, they can't hear you, Dan.
I might have, unless Laura had said she was picking me up.
Since the pretense is your birthday, sure, that would make some sense. She has your train ticket, so.
Could have derailed the entire night on a 5-way chase scene of you trying to make it to the train station. Take the whole evening. So the rest of you arrive in good time. And Hector is standing there just outside the train station with where the cargo is being loaded. The cargo, is being sorted with a somewhat perturbed Abner Wick in tow. Despite the cold, Abner Wick somehow seems to be sweating.
Nora will completely ignore the pair and just very jovially steer Watts towards the train, trusting the rest of the group to deal with it.
I'll be reeling off facts like, did you know in New York, blah blah blah.
And she'll be very enthusiastic about all of it.
They call it the Big Apple because of the size of the apples available in the markets.
They say the streets are paved with gold.
Worst made up facts.
Yeah. Everyone travels by steamship.
How is that even possible? I don't know, but it's amazing. They call it the Venice of the North. All right, so that leaves with Wright coming in late, Mr. Draper and Mr. Brady to pick up the artifact. What do you do when you arrive?
Just kind of kind of reintroduce myself again to Mr. Brady and Wright as they come, shake their hand again, and then turn to Mr. Wick. See what he's gonna say.
Wick pats his brow and looks down at the damp handkerchief and says, Brady, Draper, glad that you made it in time. I think I saw Miss Baker and Mr. Watts just over there entering the station. I trust that they've come for the task at hand.
Yes. Would there be anybody? Would it be a pretty busy area?
Yes, the train station is bustling. I'll give you a description.
Okay.
With multiple trains that come in and out of relatively busy port city. There are both notable freight trains down closer to the docks as well on the river, as well as multiple passenger cars that are heading both north and south that are waiting in the station. Your train is a sizable one of 4 passenger cars in the dining car, a baggage car, and then a caboose that is waiting within the covered station, keeping the people out of the cold. You are standing just outside just outside of the station, around to one side, still exposed to the elements, where there is a cargo area that larger baggage is being loaded for the train.
Okay. I'm trying to think of how much baggage Brady would have because he's pretty much been on the road for this whole time. He packs fairly light, but
Yes, you may well just be carrying your own cases. If any of you have a steamer trunk, you'd be dropping it off here.
okay.
Yeah, I think Roland would have a suitcase of some sort with just clothes and stuff. And he has like a bag that he has all his tools in that he's gonna carry with him.
All right. So finding Mr. Wick, he has a small steamer crate that the artifact is presumably in. Wick turns to you and says, "It's like, have you heard of the Troubles?"
I may need you just to delve into that a little bit more. I'm not sure what you're talking about.
It was covered in the paper this morning. My store, it was broken into. I think no doubt that it was someone seeking for this artifact. Fortunately, I had Hector take it to a safe location in the intervening period. They ransacked the ground floor and tried to make their way down into the lower vaults, but were unable to get through the security measures that I have taken.
Trying to tell you need to upgrade your locks.
He laughs and says, "Yes, Mr. Draper. Well, I may take you up on that upon your return."
No idea who it was, right?
Unfortunately not. Hector was asleep in the upstairs and somehow did not hear a thing. They must have been like cats in the night to be able to come in through the door, jimmying the lock and making their way in. I do not know how they were able to so thoroughly go through all the cabinets in the ground floor without waking Hector. He is supposed to be my night watch, and he turns to Hector and gives him a look, and Hector kind of just turns away, looking kind of sheepish.
Was there anything like specifically taken, or was there just like everything taken? Like, were they after anything particularly?
Well, we're still doing inventory on what happened. I mean, obviously, you know that the store has. Well, it's not like I keep a very good index of exactly what remains on the shelves, considering what comes and goes. At a glance, none of the most prized possessions were actually taken. I have to say that the timing, well, is impeccable, considering that this item is leaving my care on this day, that they should ransack the store just the night before.
Brady is making a mental note that they don't do very good accounting for their items. Well, I hope you find the people that did this, and I hope that you have not lost too much of your inventory.
Says, indeed. The most important thing is that this item right here, and he slaps the box, says, is in safe hands. Now, will you be taking it with you in the passenger compartment, or storing it in the baggage area?
I think, given the occurrence last night. It might be best if we keep it with us.
Brady will just shake his head in agreement.
Says, excellent. Well, I'll leave it with you. Then remember, I said, do not touch it. Do not touch the item. Leave it in there, safe and secure, and you'll find your way to the county of Devon. I'm sure, wholly intact and of sound mind. Sound mind. You'll be fine. Good travels, my dear boys.
We will see you when you get back. When we get back, and yeah, thank you, appreciate it.
He somehow mops his brow, dripping in sweat despite the sub-zero temperatures, and says, "Indeed. All right, Hector, go and fetch the vehicle. I will be waiting here."
Brady subconsciously just thinking about the one night where he was like grossly eating that rare, like as possibly rare as a steak could be. Just like cut it right off the animal, is just completely disgusted by it.
So, is this thing like? It's just a case that we have to carry, or just like on wheels or something?
Yes, so it's going to be a slightly awkwardly large case to have in the passenger compartment with you. You will probably draw some small modicum of attention by having essentially a miniature steamer trunk with you in the actual cabins, rather than storing it away in the freight area. Not to a crazy degree, but it's definitely a little oddly large for something that somebody would bring with them, just like carrying on the train. What do you do with it?
What is it? Something that it would require two people to carry, or could just one of us?
I would say, like carrying a large microwave, one person could do it, but it's awkward. I think that's like a good, yeah, a little heavy, a little big. Kind of like, you got your arms out to either side to try and like grab it, and you're like, ugh. Two people could carry it pretty easily.
So it's just straight up kind of like a box shape. There's no handles or anything.
Well, since it's a steamer trunk, there are handles on either side.
Okay, well then I guess if it is awkward, then
I'll be like, Mr. Brady, right?
correct. Yeah.
Would you mind grabbing the other side? I'll reach down and go to grab one side.
He'll reach down and grab the other.
Oh, this picture's perfect. Yeah, there you go. Why don't we make it an item? So I just pasted in the chat a picture of a cubular steamer trunk. That's about exactly the right size that I had mentioned. Like you could kind of grab it on either side, but it's awkwardly wide to do so. Oh, my neck. Jesus. What was that?
Did your neck click then?
Yeah, my neck just like popped real good.
I guess Wright would get there like as we're lugging it onto the train.
So yes, I was going to say. Then you carry the box around to the main entrance, wading through the snow drifts that still are not fully cleared from around the train station. As you get to the front doors and start walking through, a taxi pulls up in a hurry, spewing a Mr. Wright onto the sidewalk.
I hurriedly make my way to the train after thanking him for his haste.
All right. He smiles and thanks you, and presumably you pay him well.
Yep.
Who has the best spot hidden? Of Draper, Wright, and Brady.
I think I'm pretty decent. Oh,
Mine is 45.
mine's 50.
71.
Oh, give me a spot hidden with 71. As you leap out of the cab and you see your friends, you take a quick look around, seeing Mr. Wick leaving in a cab or leaving in a private car that turns the corner. Just as it turns the corner, behind him, a Flinders ducks back into the stairwell as he was watching across the street.
Mentioning that, I'd like to, as we're like lugging this on and getting on, try to see if there's anybody who was like following the object specific, like from Wick to us and then onto the train.
Give me a spot hidden. It is a very busy, as you're getting into the train station, it's a very busy train station with people moving to and fro. You do not notice anybody who is very specifically interested in it. You do obviously catch a bunch of different glances from various people, given that the two of you are lugging an unusually sized steamer trunk through the lobby of the building. But like, it's not crazy unusual. Certainly, some people are moving some unusual luggage around. Nobody that stands out as particularly suspicious, though.
Okay. Would I count that for the usage thing? Like the check?
Sure. Yes. Yeah. Don't forget your usage things when you have successes. That was still a success.
I would let Brady know. I said, well, as we're like getting onto the thing, I said, I don't think anybody was watching us getting onto the train, but we should keep an eye out on the train ride.
Yeah, I would say essentially is that your spot hidden success was successful at seeing that you are drawing attention. You just weren't like successful to the degree of like spotting if there was particular attention that you were drawing that was notable.
Brady will just say, "Good thing to note. It hadn't even crossed my mind. It's a good thing you said something."
It's not exactly the most casual briefcase, but don't have many choices with the shape of the object, do we?
I don't think we do. We could put it in something bigger, but then we might not be able to carry it around. Unless you have any ideas, but yeah, it's definitely an awkward sized box container.
Have you guys, or have you seen Baker or Watts yet?
No, I don't think I've seen either one. No.
Would we have noticed that? I mean, I would have been looking out for the faces of the people who I met.
Yeah, I mean, Nora wouldn't have been particularly surreptitious when they arrived, if she's trying to keep Watts's attention and direct him on the train. But she certainly wouldn't have been like looking out for you guys. I feel like she probably would have let at least Brady and Wright know the plan, though. But like how she was going to get Watts on the train. And then, sort of hint, we'll deal with the boat later type thing, but like, don't make a big deal out of it.
So we should probably get on like a different different sides of the train or something. Stick to different carts.
Yeah, like if you've got the box with you, he's seen it, so maybe you would be like, maybe we'll find our own seats or something. If it comes up later, you can pretend you were running late and, like, I don't know, Nora will be oddly friendly to people to, like, not discourage anyone from sitting in the same car as them type thing.
Yeah, probably for the best.
I think Roland would have, if he was stuck with the box, would have preferred to like sit as close to the front as possible, just as close to the exit when the train stops, so he could be like one of the first people off with the box.
Sure. It's basically 2 carts of like slightly better seating that you guys have tickets for, and then 2 carriages of like cheaper hard seats. They're basically just unpadded benches. So yeah, you guys have tickets for the nicer seats in the front. Sure.
Okay.
Which you can zoom in on. I guess it gets much bigger. Look at that.
On the train, I'll probably mention to Benjamin. Do you recall if Flinders was part of Baker's scheme with Watts? Would have swore I saw him when I was walking to the train.
Would I have known directly that that was going to be a thing? Would that have been communicated? Or
Probably, yeah.
okay.
I would have at least mentioned that, like, I had enlisted his help or something.
Okay. Well, I guess Brady will probably just kind of smile and nod his head. Yeah, I think you have the right assumption.
Well, can't say I expected to see him much after our encounters over the last couple months, but glad he's proven useful once again.
Well, let's just hope that his usefulness continues. But I think it was part of the plan to keep him around so that we could further secure Mr. Watts coming on the trip as well.
As you guys are heading to the train and getting ready to settle in, you hear the conductor. You hear the whistle blow once, and from the platform yelling, "Arkham to New York, leaving in 15 minutes. All aboard! Arkham to New York!" And you hear from a little farther away, "Hot tamales! Get your hot tamales!" And then you see a few people from the train look up, and then like quickly get up and go running out onto the thing, and they hand over a few coins to the hot tamale man to get some hot tamales. They bite in and look very very thrilled to be eating such exotic food as they get back on the train.
Watts would have been one of those people. He would have got 2 of them, one for Nora and himself. Ooh, tamales.
Oh, yes. My aunt has been deriding them greatly, so they must be good. Sort of keep an eye out to make sure that as he's doing this, it's not like, you know, he gets too close to the others or something. So keep an eye open for them. Watch out for Wick.
You know that there's this new store called Barney's that has opened up in New York. Apparently, really good clothing, but at really low prices.
Oh, I could always use another suit.
Apparently, this gentleman sold his wife's engagement ring to open the business. How crazy is that?
Oh, she must have been thrilled.
this is true stories, but I can't find the month when they opened in 1923.
As you're settling in, the train is finally filling up. You're sitting in what are fairly plush seats. The first class cabins, while not fully like separate cabins, are rather nice sets of seats, double seats facing each other with little tabletops in between. The cabin is well heated with rather nice lighting above, keeping the cold at bay for the most part, despite the time of year. There is some places to store baggage overhead, or you could try and place it underneath the seats. The actual trunk, of course, might fit underneath the table in between your legs a bit uncomfortably, but probably will not fit in the overhead compartments or underneath the seats, of course. The cabin itself is starting to fill up. The train is obviously not quite fully sold, but is definitely pretty busy, as there are people heading at the end of the week to New York for the weekend.
Nora will keep her bag tucked, like, sort of under the seat between her legs so she can keep an eye on it. It's kind of bulgy in places from all of the ammo boxes shoved in there.
Watts pulls out a board game called the Landlord's Game that he brought with him for us to play on the train.
Nora's played it before, but only with the mean rule set.
For our thousands of viewers, the Landlord's Game was a precursor to Monopoly. It was developed in 1904.
And was originally supposed to be an anti-capitalism message, but they got rid of that rule set and only sold the set that was like, make money!
And make money it did. Where's the right. So once again, the train lets out several whistles, and you hear the conductor once more and yell, "All aboard! Arkham to New York! Leaving the station now. Last call. All aboard!" He jumps on as the train starts to slowly move out. A few figures race down the platform, jumping on at the last moment for the cheaper seats at the back of the train.
Is there anything suspicious about them?
I mean, spot hidden isn't really the right role. I guess spot hidden is like assuming. Let me just double check if there's anything else in here that really.
If she was a good enough spot hidden, can she catch me trying to sneak the odd dollar note here and there in the game?
Yeah, give me a spot hidden.
All right.
This is the closest thing.
Gee.
Oh,
Not today.
nope.
Still some extra notes.
And yes. For some reason, you slowly amass quite the real estate fortune.
I'm not even at the station yet.
As the train pulls away and slowly picks up speed, it's taking its time as it has to push aside the fresh snowdrifts. It makes its way into the New England countryside that is quite picturesque, with white fields and snow-covered forests that you're passing through on your way south towards New York. Within the first hour, they come down and they start to check tickets. Each of you is asked in turn to provide proof of your passage, and presumably all of you have kept a hold of your tickets. I mean, all of you, for some reason, didn't want to play out how that happens.
Nora will hand over both hers and Watt's tickets to be checked, while she is like chain smoking the entire time. I'd say she's probably already lost the game by this point because her attention is very divided.
I see you guys also have your tickets in hand.
I would have mine, so I would present it.
Same.
All right. The morning goes on, and it's a few hours as you reach lunchtime. One of the stewards comes through and rings a bell and says, "First class passengers, lunch will be served soon. Head to the dining car."
I'll say to Brady, could you bring me back something? I'm gonna stay here with the trunk.
Yes. Yeah, I'll bring you back something. I guess that menu you shared, would that be everything on there would...
Oh, sorry, that was the boat menu.
okay, sorry.
The dining car here would have lighter fare in terms of what they'd be serving on a
Gotcha.
local route. Sandwiches and things like that.
Okay. Any preference on what you would want?
Anything, just what would be easiest to carry.
Okay. I'll just would Wright be going up there as well, or
Yeah.
you would? Okay.
How filling were our tamales?
Not terribly filling. You only have one each.
All right, then Nora will awkwardly heft her suitcase as she goes to head to the dining car, taking it with her.
I can look after that for you. Don't worry. I'll keep an eye on your bag.
Are you not hungry yourself?
No, pick me up something. It's I'm kind of full from that tamale. It's so filling. And I know that they won't have drinks on the train because of the prohibition, but try and find like a glass or two. Wink.
Ah, well, if that's what you're after, then perhaps it is best you stay with the bag. She'll tap a certain pocket with her foot as she stands and give you a smile and head off to get some food.
Start playing. I'm hoping that what's that single player card game? What's it called?
Solitaire?
Yes. Hopefully Solitaire was invented then, so I'm just doing that to pass time. Not paying attention to anything else in the world.
1826 in Russia, apparently.
There we go.
Well, that works out well since Watts would have been in the first car and the rest of the team presumably in the second car. That means that you would not have to walk by them on the way to the dining car.
Oh, excellent.
Because I assumed that you got on first, so you went to the front of the train.
Yeah.
So Nora, you are heading down and you find a Mr. Draper protecting the case.
We'll sort of glance back, make sure that Watts isn't watching, and sort of stop. Everything all checked out there, Mr. Draper?
Yes. I think we're good. I'm just staying here with the trunk.
Very good. Thank you for coordinating and picking that up. I am doing my best to ensure Watts will be on this journey with us. Do you require anything?
Mr. Brady already said he'd bring me something.
Excellent. Well, glad to see that you all made it. It was quite the weather today, but I should get back before he notices anything. Certainly seems distracted enough. See you at the other end, I suppose. Have a good journey. She'll set off for the dining cart.
So I just looked it up, and you do actually get a little bit more than even the most basic food. There is generally going to be an option for soup, fish, eggs, some light grilled things, some salads and cheese, breads, and beverages. Beverages, of course, not including alcohol, but tea, coffee, cocoa, that sort of thing.
Nora will get some kind of like sweet pastry thing and a really big coffee, in theory, and just head back.
Alrighty. Normally you would eat in the dining car, but you could ask for a small plate to go.
Go ahead.
So I think she'd like scarf down the food and drink a coffee really quickly, and then take another one with her.
Sorry, once again, jelly omelets. What? It's apparently a thing. Honestly, it makes me want to try a jelly omelet. This is apparently just like everybody was like, yeah, that's the fucking jam. Literally.
No, it's jelly.
So weird.
Get it right.
I guess I would. Brady will probably get like a soup of some kind with a slice or a piece of bread, and he'll eat that, and then he will get. I guess there's probably back then not a good way of transporting soup, right?
Yeah, that's a good question. Probably on a train, you'd probably not want to transport soup. It's in a bowl. It would be a little dangerous.
So I guess I will grab a sandwich and a coffee, and I guess that I'll just grab 2 coffees and a sandwich for to go.
Sure. Yep. So they're happy to serve you that in like a little like handkerchief wrapped up, and the coffee's in a closed top cup that you can bring back.
I'll just go up to Roland, and I hope you like coffee because I got one for both of us, and then I'll just hand him over the sandwich and.
Oh yeah, thank you, and take it. Eat it.
Right, probably spends the meal in the diner cart. He socializes with the people there.
I'll probably just mention to Roland that if he wants to get up and go grab something from the cart ahead, that he's welcome to, and I'll just stay by with the merchandise.
No, this is good.
While I was up and down the 2 train cars, was there anyone sort of paying particular attention to Mr. Roland or the box while I was sort of passing through that area?
I'll give you a spot in.
Definitely something Roland would have been like looking out for as well, just the whole time.
Yeah, you usually do so as well. Your perspective.
Spot hidden, you said?
Yeah.
Nope.
Well, Nora, as you go down the train car, you don't see anything that like that jumps out to you as being like super suspicious. But there is a fellow who is sitting at the far end of the train car, who seems to look up at you as you go by from his newspaper, and look at you rather intently before rustling it and going back to seeming to be engrossed in the stories that he's reading.
sort of make note of his appearance.
He's a short fellow wearing a warm woolen hat and has a bit of a scruffy beard growing in.
Okay. Yeah, I'll just kind of take note of him and, file him away to keep an eye out for type thing.
So you find your meals and settle back in after your lunch as the train continues on its way. Hold on a second, let me double check. I had this noted somewhere, I can't find it. Train travel time from Boston to New York. I believe it took the better part of a day. Oh, I had a whole graphic for this. There was this really cool graphic that basically laid out the travel times. What? Shit, what happened? Oh, here we go. These are all too old. Oh, here we go. 1930. Yeah, it's like half a day. So you'd be getting well through the state or into the state of New York, making good progress towards the city as you're heading into the afternoon. The snow thins a bit as you get a little farther south, and as you're getting a little closer, the sky becomes a bit more overcast, and some snow begins to fall. The train releases a loud hoot, and there's a bit of a shuffle, or not shuffle, a bit of a vibration as it seems to be going over a bit of a rough patch of snow upon the tracks. Everything moves a bit, and a person from behind kind of falls over slightly towards you, Mr. Draper, apologizing profusely. It's a man who is making his way up the aisle.
I'll just say, no problem.
He continues on his way down the aisle, looking back briefly before making his way to the dining car.
Would I have seen? I'm assuming I would have either been next to or in front of.
Yeah, either next to or across from.
Okay. Could I possibly have seen that? Noticed anything in particular, or was it just? I was kind of just wanted to see if maybe the guy was. Since Brady is also very good with sleight of hand, he might have been worried that someone might have also been good at sleight of hand.
Yeah, that's a reasonable. I guess say you could roll a sleight of hand check to sleight of hand check. Like essentially the equivalent of a spot hidden, but for like your particular tool of trade. I'd be open to that.
Okay.
It looked like the man was seemed to have been doing something where he was kind of feeling up Mr. Draper in the sense of looking for something upon him, but didn't seem to actually get any item.
Okay. I guess I'll just make a mental note of his appearance.
All right. He was a tall fellow with a swarthy complexion, likely of Mediterranean descent, curly black hair, and thick, bushy eyebrows.
Okay. I'll just keep it to myself for the time being.
Sorry, taking notes. Actually, 10:30. I'm pretty pooped from a long day. I think this is probably a good place for us to pick up next week, as you guys are approaching New York City and soon to arrive. Before anything crazy happens, normally I'd like to leave you on a cliffhanger, but I feel like it's probably easier for us to pick up next week as you're approaching the station.